There are places on Earth where sound feels unnecessary, where movement slows, where even time seems to hesitate. Greenland is one of those places. Not a country in the way we usually imagine, but a continent of ice disguised as an island. Vast, silent, ancient. A land where almost everything that defines the modern world fades away. When people think of Greenland, they imagine cold, snow, glaciers. But that image barely scratches the surface. Greenland is not just cold. It is deep time made visible. Ice that remembers eras before humans existed. Silence that stretches not for minutes, but for thousands of years. This is one of the last places on Earth where nature still speaks first. Greenland sits between continents, between oceans, between worlds. To the west, North America. To the east, Europe. To the north, the Arctic Ocean. To the south, the restless North Atlantic. Yet Greenland belongs fully to none of them. It exists in isolation, shaped not by borders, but by ice, wind, and gravity. More than 80% of Greenland is covered by a single massive ice sheet. In places, this ice is over 3 kilometers thick. Beneath it lies a hidden landscape. Mountains, valleys, rivers. A buried continent sealed away under frozen weight. Some of this land has not seen sunlight for millions of years. It is not frozen water on rock. It is frozen history. This ice sheet is so heavy that it presses the Earth's crust downward. Greenland is literally sinking under its own past. And as the ice slowly melts, the land beneath is beginning to rise again, like a planet breathing after a long sleep. Long before satellites, before maps, before names, Greenland existed as a collision point of forces. Ice flowing outward like slow rivers. Winds accelerating across open plains of snow. Temperatures dropping low enough to make metal brittle and breath painful. In winter, darkness can last for months. In summer, the sun refuses to set. Light and darkness here are not daily events, they are seasons. Human presence in Greenland is fragile by comparison. The first people arrived thousands of years ago, crossing frozen paths from the Arctic. They didn't conquer the land, they adapted to it. Survival here was never about domination, it was about listening. Inuit cultures developed knowledge that cannot be written easily. How snow feels underfoot before a storm. How ice sounds when it is about to break. How animals move before weather changes. In Greenland, survival depended on understanding silence, not filling it. Even today, most of Greenland remains empty. Towns cling to the coastline like small interruptions in the ice. There are no roads connecting most settlements. Travel happens by boat, by plane, by sled, or not at all. The interior belongs entirely to the ice sheet. No cities, no villages, no permanent human presence. Just wind, pressure, and time. Standing at the edge of the ice cap, you don't feel like you're looking at a glacier. You feel like you're standing at the boundary of another world. The ice stretches beyond the horizon, flat and blinding, merging with the sky until it becomes impossible to tell where Earth ends and atmosphere begins. And yet this silence is not empty. Ice moves, it cracks, it groans. Glaciers flow toward the sea, inch by inch, year after year, until they reach the coast and break away in massive collapses. Icebergs are not born gently. They are torn from the land with violence, thunder echoing across fjords. Those fjords cut deep into Greenland's coastline, some stretching hundreds of kilometers inland. Walls of rock rise sharply from dark water. Glaciers spill into the sea between them. The water here is cold enough to steal heat in minutes. The silence is broken only by distant ice calving or the breath of a passing whale. Greenland's climate is extreme, but not simple. Coastal areas can experience storms born far away in the Atlantic. The interior remains locked in polar conditions. Winds accelerate across the ice sheet, shaping snow into endless patterns. Temperatures can swing dramatically, yet the cold is always present, waiting beneath the surface. For scientists, Greenland is not just a place, it is an archive. Ice cores drilled deep into the ice reveal trapped air from ancient atmospheres. Each layer records a year, a storm, a volcanic eruption, a shift in climate. Greenland's ice remembers what the planet has forgotten, and what it remembers is unsettling. The ice shows that Earth can change rapidly, that climates can shift in decades, not millennia. That stability is not guaranteed. Greenland's silence is not peaceful, it is watchful. As the modern world grows louder, faster, warmer, Greenland remains slow and cold, but not untouched. The ice is thinning at the edges. Glaciers are retreating. Meltwater carves new paths across the surface. What was once permanent is becoming seasonal. Yet Greenland does not collapse dramatically. It changes quietly, silently, like everything else here. To understand Greenland is to understand scale. Human scale does not apply. Political scale does not apply. Even historical scale feels small. This is a land measured in ice thickness, in geological pressure, in time spans that ignore civilizations. This is where the planet reveals itself without decoration. And this is only the beginning. Beyond the coast, beyond the fjords, beyond the last scattered settlements, Greenland opens into something few humans ever see. The interior ice sheet is not a landscape in the usual sense. It is an environment stripped to its most basic elements: ice, wind, gravity, and time. Nothing grows here. Nothing rests. Everything moves, even when it appears completely still. From the air, the ice cap looks endless. A white expanse stretching in all directions, broken only by subtle shadows and faint lines where snow has shifted under wind pressure. There are no landmarks, no reference points. The horizon dissolves into brightness. Pilots flying across the ice rely entirely on instruments because the human eye loses its sense of depth here. Distance becomes meaningless. On the surface, the silence is overwhelming. Sound travels differently in cold air, and here, there is almost nothing to carry it. Wind may roar one moment and vanish the next, leaving behind a stillness so complete that even your own heartbeat feels intrusive. This is not the silence of peace, it is the silence of absence. Temperatures in the interior can drop below -50 degrees Celsius. At those extremes, exposed skin freezes in seconds. Machinery fails. Fuel thickens. Metal contracts and cracks. Even breathing becomes an act that must be controlled. Moisture from lungs can freeze instantly, coating scarves and masks with ice. And yet, despite these conditions, the ice is alive. The Greenland ice sheet is constantly moving, flowing outward from the center toward the sea. This movement is slow, measured in centimeters per day, but relentless. Over centuries, ice behaves like a fluid. It bends, stretches, fractures, and reforms. Pressure builds deep within the sheet, forcing ice to slide over buried rock, grinding mountains into sediment. This movement creates crevasses, deep cracks that open suddenly, sometimes without warning. Some are narrow enough to step across. Others plunge hundreds of meters into darkness. Snow can cover them perfectly, hiding lethal gaps beneath a fragile surface. Many explorers have disappeared this way, swallowed silently by the ice. On the surface during summer, meltwater forms rivers and lakes that should not exist. Blue pools appear atop the ice, reflecting the sky like mirrors. Streams carve channels across frozen ground. Then, without warning, the water vanishes, draining through vertical shafts called moulins, plunging straight to the base of the ice sheet. The surface appears solid, but it is riddled with hidden pathways. At the bottom of the ice, meltwater lubricates the contact between ice and rock, allowing glaciers to slide faster toward the sea. This is one of the reasons Greenland's ice loss has accelerated. What melts at the top does not simply disappear. It reshapes the entire system from within. Along the edges of the ice sheet, glaciers emerge like frozen rivers spilling into the ocean. Some move faster than any others on Earth. They stretch, crack, and fracture as they approach the coast, until gravity finally wins. Massive sections break free and collapse into the sea, creating icebergs the size of skyscrapers. These moments are violent. The sound of calving ice echoes like thunder through fjords. Waves surge outward. The water churns with floating debris. Then, slowly, silence returns, as if nothing happened. Greenland's coastal waters are among the coldest and richest on the planet. Nutrients stirred up by melting glaciers feed plankton blooms that support entire marine ecosystems. Whales migrate here. Seals hunt along the ice edge. Polar bears roam the shifting boundary between land and sea, perfectly adapted to this unstable world. But even these animals are affected by subtle changes. Sea ice forms later and melts earlier. Hunting grounds shift. Traditional migration routes become unreliable. Survival becomes harder, even for species evolved to live on the edge of endurance. Human life in Greenland exists only where ice loosens its grip. Small communities line the coast, often isolated from one another by hundreds of kilometers of impassable terrain. There are no highways across the island, no railways, no central arteries. Greenland does not connect easily, and that isolation shapes everything. In winter, many towns are accessible only by air. Storms can ground flights for days. Supplies are planned months in advance. A missed delivery can mean real scarcity. People here understand limits in a way most of the modern world has forgotten. Daily life follows natural rhythms rather than clocks. Hunting, fishing, and travel depend on weather, light, and ice conditions. Decisions are made carefully because mistakes are expensive and sometimes fatal. In Greenland, risk is never abstract. Technology exists, but it does not dominate. Snowmobiles replace dog sleds in some areas, but both coexist. Satellite phones connect people to the outside world, yet silence still defines daily life. The land does not yield easily to convenience, and above all of this looms the presence of the ice itself. It defines the climate. It shapes the coastline. It stores fresh water equivalent to several meters of global sea level. If all of Greenland's ice were to melt, Coastlines around the world would be rewritten. Entire cities would disappear. This knowledge sits quietly in the background, like the ice itself. Greenland does not threaten loudly. It does not announce change with explosions or collapse. It shifts gradually, silently, patiently. Scientists working here often describe a strange emotional weight. Standing on the ice cap, drilling cores that reach back hundreds of thousands of years, they feel both insignificant and responsible. The ice tells a story of Earth's past, but it is now recording the present. Every year leaves a new layer. Every storm, every warm summer, every shift in atmospheric circulation is preserved. Greenland is not only a witness, it is a recorder. And what it is recording now suggests that the silence may not last forever. In the next part, we move deeper into Greenland's hidden systems, into the ice below the ice, the ancient landscapes buried beneath, and the future that may emerge as the frozen continent slowly begins to change. Beneath Greenland's ice lies a world that almost no one has ever seen. Not in person, not in photographs. A hidden continent buried under kilometers of frozen weight. Mountains, valleys, ancient riverbeds. A landscape older than the ice itself. Greenland is not just ice on rock. It is ice sealing away an entire forgotten geography. Radar surveys have revealed that beneath the ice sheet are mountain ranges rivaling the Alps. Deep canyons carved by rivers that flowed long before the Arctic froze, and basins that may once have held forests. This land was not always white and silent. It was shaped by water, wind, and life long before it was entombed. When the ice sheet first formed millions of years ago, it did not simply freeze in place. It grew, retreated, advanced again. Each cycle buried more of the land below, grinding rock into sediment, reshaping valleys, erasing previous surfaces. What we see today is not a single frozen moment, but the result of repeated geological erasures. At the very base of the ice, conditions are unlike anything on the surface. Pressure is immense. Temperatures hover just below freezing, warmed slightly by geothermal heat from the Earth's interior. In some places, liquid water exists under the ice, flowing slowly in complete darkness. These subglacial lakes and rivers form a hidden hydrological system, isolated for hundreds of thousands of years. Scientists believe that microbial life may exist there, organisms adapted to total darkness, extreme pressure, and isolation. If life can survive beneath Greenland's ice, it strengthens the idea that similar life could exist beneath the ice of other worlds, like Europa or Enceladus. Greenland is not only a window into Earth's past, it is a testing ground for understanding life beyond our planet. Above this hidden world, the ice continues its slow transformation. As temperatures rise, the balance between accumulation and melting shifts. Snowfall still feeds the ice sheet, but not enough to compensate for the losses at the edges. Glaciers retreat inland. Ice fronts collapse faster than before. The silence is changing. One of the most striking transformations is happening at Greenland's margins, where ice meets sea. Here, glaciers that once extended far into fjords are pulling back, exposing bare rock for the first time in tens of thousands of years. New coastlines are forming. New ecosystems attempt to establish themselves on freshly uncovered land. Mosses and lichens appear first, then grasses. Slowly, cautiously, life returns where ice once ruled absolutely. But this is not a simple rebirth. It is a fragile process, constantly interrupted by erosion, storms, and unstable ground. Greenland does not transition gently. For the people who live here, change is personal. Traditional knowledge passed down through generations is becoming harder to apply. Ice that was once reliable is now unpredictable. Sea routes open earlier, then close suddenly. Hunting patterns shift, safety margins shrink. Yet Greenlanders have adapted before. They have lived through centuries of extreme conditions, colonial pressures, economic changes, and isolation. What they face now is different, not because it is harsh, but because it is fast. The land they understand is changing within a single lifetime. Culturally, Greenland stands at a crossroads. Modern influences reach even the most remote towns through screens and signals. Younger generations balance traditional practices with global connections. Languages evolve, identities shift. Yet the ice remains a constant presence, a reminder of where they are and what shapes them. Greenland's silence is not emptiness, it is restraint. A land that reveals itself slowly, only to those willing to observe without interruption. It does not invite conquest. It does not reward haste. It demands patience, respect, and humility. For the rest of the world, Greenland is often reduced to numbers: temperature graphs, sea level projections, satellite images of retreating ice. But those abstractions miss something essential. Greenland is not a warning sign alone. It is a place, a lived environment, a continent-scale system that responds to forces larger than politics and smaller than geology. Standing on the ice, one realizes how temporary human noise truly is. Engines fall silent, voices fade, even fear dissolves into awareness. The land does not react to you. It simply exists, continuing processes that began long before you arrived and will continue long after you leave. And yet, for the first time, Greenland is responding to humanity in measurable ways. Not violently, not dramatically, but undeniably. The ice is thinning. The flow is accelerating. The past is releasing its grip on the present. Greenland teaches a difficult lesson. That stability is not permanence. That silence does not mean immobility. That the most powerful changes often happen without spectacle. This continent of ice and silence does not shout its importance. It whispers it, layer by layer, year by year, molecule by molecule. If we listen carefully, Greenland tells us not only what the planet has been, but what it may become.